bilateral currency swap arrangement. Okay. See, there have been two swap introduced in 2018. Don't get confused. One is this currency swap, bilateral currency swap between India and Japan. And the second one I will discuss tomorrow under money and banking. Forex swap so that I will discuss tomorrow in under money and banking. But here for time being, you learn this, what is this? Currency, bilateral currency swap, which was signed between India and Japan. Okay. So, have an idea. Recently, RBI, so it was actually when our Prime Minister visited Japan, both the government have agreed to go for a currency swap agreement. And later on, both the central bank, that is India Central Bank, RBI and Bank of Japan have signed this bilateral swap. So this is very important. Okay. So how much is the amount under the bilateral swap agreement? It is 75 billion. 75 billion. And it came into force in February 2019. Now, because of this bilateral currency swap arrangement, Forex reserve module have become very important for you. Be very clear with the concept of Forex reserves. Okay. Now, again, this arrangement is because of the erosion in our Forex reserve. You have seen that, okay, when our currency have depreciated, I told you, 2018, there have been a greater depreciation of Indian rupee, which we have not seen in the last one decade. So, because of this depreciation, rupee depreciation, as well as foreign portfolio outflow, our Forex reserve from 426 billion in April 2018, it was 426 billion our Forex reserve. By October, it has touched 390 billion. So we have lost almost around 33 billion in our Forex reserve. Okay. So one reason is that foreign portfolio outflow, and second is that RBI have intervened in the foreign exchange market to prevent drastic fall of Indian rupee. So that is the reason. So because RBI used to sell dollar, so when RBI sell dollar from its Forex reserve, so there that itself have 20 billion when RBI have sold Forex reserve. And RBI realized that this is also not able to, means even after RBI intervention, RBI could not able to prevent the Forex reserve reduction as well as depreciation, currency depreciation. So that's the reason why RBI went for different initiatives. We had seen regarding FPI investment. We will discuss the reforms the RBI introduced in regarding external commercial borrowings. And similarly, RBI, means government along with RBI have come up with this bilateral currency swap arrangement. Okay. So from first, try to understand that why Japan, because India is having a India-Japan bilateral relationship, or Japan is a very close ally of India. Japan have been to India support many times, including the 1991 crisis period when we had BOP problem. And another important point regarding Japan, this consists that try to understand that Japan has a huge Forex reserve. And Japan is a country with high current account surplus. Japan is having current account surplus, and it is the second largest foreign exchange holder after China. China is having 3 trillion. Japan is having 1.25 trillion Forex reserves. How much India is having? Nearly to 400 billion. Okay, so that point you keep in mind. So around Japan is having, in 2019, Japan is having around 1,150 billion Forex reserve. Okay. Now another important point, this is not the first time, they can confuse you. This is first time India had this bilateral swap agreement. No, this is the third time India and Japan is going for a bilateral swap agreement. First was in 2012, 15 billion. It was increased to in 2013, 50 billion. Again, try to understand, in the year 2013, there have been a huge currency depreciation. That time also, India and Japan had gone for a bilateral currency swap. That amount was 50 billion. So you can see here that the key word here is that this is the largest bilateral currency swap agreement signed by India till history. That is for 75 billion. Fact, but very, very, very important fact. Okay. If they are saying that it is 100 billion or 200 billion, it's wrong. So this, I told you sometimes certain facts are very important for you. So this fact of Japan bilateral swap agreement, what the amount of 75 billion, even though it is a fact, I generally say that facts are not important. But here this fact is very, very important for you, 75 billion. So under this bilateral currency, India and Japan will exchange and re-exchange a maximum amount of USD 75 billion for domestic currency. And understand what is this bilateral currency swap, okay. So it is not only, see, this swap arrangement is not only for India. If India is having any BOP problem, then in what India can do, to the equivalent, to this equivalent value, India can give Indian rupee to whom? The Indian rupee is India's domestic currency, to Japan, and in return, what Japan will give? See, try to understand this currency. Normally, the bilateral swap is in respective Japan's. Normally, it has to be in Japanese yen, but it is not in Japanese yen. This agreement is not in Japanese yen. Japan is providing India in which currency? US dollar. Another important point. Okay, so India will give 75 billion equivalent Indian rupee, and in return, India will get $75 billion. See, try to understand that India have not taken this money. It's just a question. It's just a question like that. If India, now once this agreement have come into force, whenever India required, this 75 billion is there for India. Because already RBI and Bank of Japan, which is the Central Bank of Japan, have signed this. So whenever RBI requires, this 75 billion can be used by RBI. And when, how much amount it has taken, for that only it need to pay the interest. It have to pay the interest. Now try to understand that it is a bilateral swap. It means that even Japan also, if it has any BOP crisis, normally we can understand that Japan will not use it. That's why, see, try to, under this agreement, it is not only for India. If in future, Japan has any BOP problem, then Japan will give its own currency. We don't have any problem. It's a hard currency we can take. It will not affect our forex reserve. And in return, what do you have to give? US dollar. So that's why this word is okay. It is a swap arrangement. It is not only India taking from US. If Japan, India taking from Japan. If Japan also requires, Japan can take from India. So if they are saying that okay, in this bilateral currency swap arrangement, only India can use this, that's a wrong statement. Japan also, if it's not nowadays, both can use it. But you know that in the present context, who will be using this arrangement? It is India only. So be very clear about the currency. In this swap arrangement, the currency is US dollar. The value is 75 billion. Okay. So Bank of Japan will accept rupees and give dollars to RBI. Give dollars to RBI, and RBI will take the yen and give dollars to stabilize each. So it is vice versa. So it will, so by doing so, it can maintain a minimum level of BOP to deal with this short-term deficiency in foreign exchange, which we had faced in 2018. So this is again an initiative to address the problem of depreciating Indian rupee. Now suddenly, see the speculators in the foreign exchange market, now after this agreement, if you have noticed one thing, this agreement was proposed in October 2018. After that, suddenly rupee got stabilized. It is like this actually, it is like this, okay, it is like a guarantee for the RBI and to the government that, okay, whenever we require a $75 billion, it's a huge amount. And we have seen that Pakistan forex reserve is just only 4 billion. You can understand the difference of this 75 billion importance this agreement has and what it is showing to the market. So that shows the India-Japan closer relationship also. So concept, currency swap, we already discussed. What is currency swap? It is a swap between two countries in what? In a currency. So the terms and conditions will be mutually determined, and the exchange, the interest rate also, exchange rate also. At what exchange rate they will exchange, for how many periods, everything will be signed between. It's not, final details is not to try to understand that this currency swap arrangement can be bilateral or multilateral. Presently it is bilateral. Multilateral means multilateral agency is giving to India. If IMF is doing the same thing, it is multilateral. A multilateral organization providing, that is multilateral swap. Bilateral means between two countries. Now why this currency swap? To make sure that there is a stability in the foreign exchange market and as well as stability in the exchange rate. That is one. It will ensure adequate foreign currency whenever there is forex scarcity is there or foreign currency scarcity is there. And it also has supplementary objectives. So it will promote bilateral trade between those countries. It will maintain the value of foreign exchange reserve with the central bank, and it will ensure financial stability. If they ask you, what are the advantages of this bilateral currency swap, you can note down. It's there in the material. Just to go through it, okay.